I'm sure most of you who have spent any amount of time in the fragrance community have at least heard of these 10 scents, right? These are relatively well known, some a bit newer than others, but you probably know them. However, just because they're not complete hidden gems, I do still think these deserve even more hype and more attention and more praise than what they're already getting. They're really, really good. A lot of these offer great value, great bang for your buck, a great performance to price ratio, great mass appeal. All around, they're scents that you should be hearing about more than you probably are. So if you're wanting to pick up some new things and maybe there's some scents that you haven't been considering yet, these could be some that you could start looking into and maybe they would be a good fit for your collection. There's a little bit of everything for everybody in here. I'll drop links to these down below so you can check out the prices as we go along. All of the prices I reference are going to be at discounters. I also have a mailing list you can sign up to. Anything that may be rare, discontinued, or hard to find, anytime something like that comes into stock, I send out an email giving you the opportunity to pick it up for yourself before it inevitably sells out again, usually pretty quickly. So make sure you get on that list. I do all of the work and the digging in order to find you guys the best deals and the rarest items. Now let's get it kicked off with John Varvatos XX Artisan. So this is their basically 20th year anniversary, or one of their 20th year anniversary scents, essentially. They have a few others kind of in this, XX lineup. This is, in my opinion, the best one. This one really is focusing on the vetiver. It does still have the bitter orange and some other orange notes in general in here, which kind of ties it back to the Artisan line. You notice it does still have the wicker style bottle. It is an Artisan. But this one in particular focuses heavily on the vetiver, and that's what I like so much about it. It's a different take on vetiver. It's a little bit soapy, a little bit earthy. It's a nice, unique, updated version of this DNA and just of other vetiver scents in general. This is not going to clash with any others that you may have in your collection, like Guerlain vetiver, Roja Parfums vetiver, Tom Ford Grey vetiver, things of that nature. This is completely different. And also, I think I have to say, and this is kind of a little aside because it doesn't matter that much, but the bottle, I think this is the best looking John Varvatos bottle as well. That gray is on point. It's very modern, sleek, and classy. Almost has a little bit of a metallic, kind of flakish look to it as well, if you catch it in the right light. Really, really cool stuff all the way around. It's a great price on discounters now. The price has worked its way down since it's been out for a little while, and it's one you should highly consider grabbing. Next up, we have YSL La Nuit de L'Homme, right? It's actually the Le Parfum. So you guys probably have the original. You probably have some of the others. You might even have the very elusive Bleu Electrique, which also I think is an amazing flanker, but it's impossible to get now. So I'm going to hold back on featuring that one, and I'm going to give the spotlight to one that you can get easily, Le Parfum. This does have lavender, it's got vanilla, there's some black pepper in here, some fruity notes also. So it in a way, kind of ties back to the original, but just using different notes. So, for example, instead of cardamom for the spiciness here, you get the black pepper. Instead of kind of the sweetness also coming from the cardamom mixture and amber and things of that nature, you're kind of getting it from a vanilla here as well. You're still getting the lavender, so that note did carry over, kind of giving it a little bit of a masculine, kind of mature, refined edge, nice little aromatic touch, and a little bit of a fruitiness as well, something a little bit new, which is also adding to the sweetness that the original wasn't using fruity notes. So there's kind of just some carryover, but done in a different way, and that's what I like so much about it. To me, it's a little bit backwards. I think the original is much darker, much richer, and much heavier. I actually think the Le Parfum version is a slight bit fresher and lighter. So again, it's kind of flipped around to me. I kind of see this one as more of a daytime use, believe it or not. Daytime, casual, semi-formal, going to work, that sort of thing. And then I would go over to the eau de toilette in the evening when you're going out for the night. And this can layer right over top of it or vice versa. You really won't have an issue there. Everyone knows the original, a lot of the other flankers. This one's kind of slept on though a little bit. Next up, we have Issey Miyake L'Eau d'Issey Noir Ombre. So this one's a little bit tough to get. This is kind of one of those options where, it does pop up into stock relatively often. There's a decent amount of frequency where this one will show up. a few times every couple of months. It's kind of sporadic. Once it does show up, it's kind of around for a little while, might sell out, then it might come back into stock for a little while and sell out again, and then it kind of goes silent for a couple months and then comes back. That's why it's very beneficial for you to get on the mailing list if you want to get something like this, because again, it's not impossible. If you hold out, you don't go pay eBay prices, you just wait around. This one often pops up for right around $100, sometimes a bit less. And each time it does, I notify my mailing list and you can pick it up, no problem. Save yourself a lot of money and a lot of headache. This is one that is worth the hunt. You get upgraded presentation with this one, great bottle, great box, but more importantly, the scent is beautiful. It's all about the amber, no surprise. A little bit smoky from the incense, ever so slightly. Some woods going on in here, some creamy woods, some sandalwood. This stuff is great. It is really, really pleasant. It's a shame that it's so hard to get because it's a beautiful work of art designer scent. Everyone knows about it for the most part, people in the community that is, but it still just doesn't go to the level as some of the other hyped up scents, and I do think that it has earned it. Now, if that one's a little bit too rich for your blood and you just don't want to screw around with trying to get something that's a little bit hard to get sometimes, this next one is running us like $20. It's 100 milliliters. It's available everywhere. You can probably pick this one up in rack stores sometimes, but discounters are probably going to be your best bet. Do not pay retail for this. I think it retails for $80. Do not do it, okay? Tom Ford, oh wow. Tommy Bahama, not Tom Ford, Saint Kitts. Yeah, I don't know where that one came from. Tom Ford in rack stores, $20. I wish, but no, it's a Tommy Bahama. It's an eau de cologne. It's, pretty bare bones. Again, we're talking a $20 scent here. It's all about the starfruit, the orange, the watery notes, driftwood, sea salt. It's a really nice tropical, uplifting, fun, fresh, playful scent. The Tommy Bahama line or brand, and more specifically this Set Sail line, to me is focused all about being on vacation. St. Bart's is another really good one. They just smell uplifting and fun and positive. Most people know about this one, especially in the community. That is, it's one of those cheapies that most people have heard of at some point or another. You might put it off because it is cheap. Maybe you already have it. But the point is, I think it really brings a lot to the table for the price, and it definitely is worth having around in your collection. Kind of following a similar trend, actually. Same price point, Nautica Aqua Rush. So this has been out since 2012. There's nothing new about this. And again, some of these others have been around for a while as well. Nothing new. This one's got sea notes, yuzu, and mint in here. So what I like about this is the yuzu minty accord. Kind of green, kind of aromatic. Slight bit sweet, but then still very bright, citrusy, musky, watery. It's a Nautica. They do scents like this very well. They also come in at affordable prices, similar to Tommy Bahama. Probably can get them at rack stores a lot of times, but do not pay retail because you're going to be paying like triple the price or quadruple the price at retail than you can get them for at discounters. So this one, to me, is one of the better Nautica fragrances out there that you can buy, that is, not talking any of the discontinued great ones that we've had over the years. I would say this and Voyage are two Nautica scents that every guy should have at a minimum. Really nice, affordable one that a lot of you probably know about, but maybe haven't considered getting. It is worth a try. Great summer cheapie. If you already have Voyage and you want another great cheap Nautica, this should be your next option. Next up, we have Armani Stronger With You Oud. So you guys probably know this. You really know absolutely and intensely in the original and freeze and all of those, right? Just got another new exclusive edition, Stronger With You Amber, to go along with this and leather. So they're growing the exclusive edition line, and I hope they keep it up. These are really good so far. The Oud one is going to be one of the lesser hyped up ones, and primarily it's because of the title, the name of it, Oud. That one singular word and one singular note is the quickest way to put a divide on any fragrance. If you just have it in the note breakdown, you're already immediately pushing people away. If you put it in the name, that's a big turnoff for a lot of people. And when it comes to designers like this, you shouldn't let it be that scary. You shouldn't let it be that intimidating. It really isn't that bad. Now, trust me, there are some, niche oud fragrances that you would smell and probably puke, right? Myself included. But this is not one of those. It's just so subtle, but in enough of a way to where it does stand out and it does bring the scent kind of up to a different benchmark. It does give it more of an expensive, important type of smell. So it really is stronger with you, but more mature. The most mature out of all of them, in my opinion, thus far. Amber's kind of working its way up there as well, but sweeter, a little bit animalic. This one is a really nice one if you want to be taken seriously. Next up, we have Replica Jazz Club. So this one's been around for quite a while also. It's one of the more hyped up ones. I would say this and By the Fireplace. I would say By the Fireplace comes first and then probably Jazz Club next up. And so even though it's super hyped up in terms of the replicas, in the grand scheme of the fragrance community, yeah, it's very well known, but it's not like Spice Bomb Extreme or Versace Eros or Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum or something like that, where it's just always being talked about in that regard. This is kind of stripped back a little bit more, and I do think it does deserve to kind of join the ranks of some of those other super popular wintertime scents. This one's got tobacco leaf, rum, and vanilla, and you guys know the Replica line. They're all about creating a reproduction of familiar scents and moments of varying locations and periods. It says so right on the bottle, and that's exactly what this does. It legitimately smells like the name Jazz Club, and the way they describe it is cocktails and cigars, and it really does smell like that. It's got a nice smokiness. The tobacco leaf is not too strong. It's a leafy, more aromatic tobacco. Nice boozy accord here. Smells really, really nice. And it's not for everybody, but if you are into things like this, it's a must-have. Let's keep it moving with Rocus L'Homme. Every time I smell this one, I think it smells amazing. And then when I remember you can get it for around as low as $27 or something for the testers, it's even more crazy to me. This stuff smells amazing. It's modern, it's refined, it's elegant, it's classy, it's versatile, it has great performance all the way around, and that price point is unbeatable. I'm telling you what, this brand here, they put out some amazing scents for great prices. This one's got blood orange, juniper berries, and tonka bean in here. It smells great. Now, there's a flanker of this, L'Homme Aromatic Touch. I actually think the original is better by a significant margin. So if you are between the two, I would get this one first. If you end up falling in love with this and you just have to have the flanker, and I'm sure there will be more flankers to come, but for now, the flanker, which is Aromatic Touch, then you can do so after the fact. But again, I have that one. I've tested it. I've worn it. I've done a first impressions on it. I just can't get down with it the way that I can with the original. So I think this is it right here. If this was $100 or something at discounters, my opinion of it would be nowhere near the excitement level as it is now. But for less than $30, it is completely crazy, and it's a great one that a lot of you probably do know about. Maybe you put off, maybe you see this and you just think, oh, another blue scent. It's not, trust me. It's more than that, and you should check it out. Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum. It takes this DNA, the vetiver musky DNA, and then adds some nice, dusty, sweet iris. I love it because it's different than all of the other iris scents. The fresh ones like Prada L'Homme, Dior Homme, different. Valentino Uomo Intense, Dior Homme Intense, Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum, and Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. Carolina Herrera Iris Empire, the sweet ones, it's different. What this does, unlike any other iris, is it takes a fresh base mixed with a sweet iris accord. The fresh irises, like Prada L'Homme, Dior Homme, take a fresher iris mixed with a fresher, neroli, citrus base. The sweet ones take a sweet, dusty, creamy iris mixed with a sweet base. Vanilla, tonka bean, chocolate, coffee, things of that nature. This does a hybrid. You got a fresh kind of base from the vetiver musk of the Blue Noir line, and then a little bit of a dusty, sweet, creamy iris. It's a really, really magnificent combination because you kind of get ultimate versatility with this. Works great on those, spring days when the temperature is nice and you want something a little bit fresh. Works great on the colder winter days as well when it's cold and you want something with some of that sweetness. Kind of warm, cold, just in those transitional periods there is where this one really works well. You probably know it by now. This one did catch a pretty good amount of hype when it came out for good reason, but I still think it deserves a lot more. And I think as this one becomes more available on discounters, it will get that at some point. Last up, we have Mallon on board. So to me, this has always been the replacement, or one of the best replacements of the Popeye Superman style scent. You know, those two kind of limited editions. Between the two of those, they're the same scent, just the bottle had been changed. Now, by replacement, I don't mean that this smells like those, because it is a different scent all around. But I mean replacement in terms of the Popeye Superman was the summertime Mallon to get. Like if you were craving that DNA in the summer, and you definitely weren't going to want to wear Ultra Male or the original, or later on down the road Mallon Le Parfum, which what we have now, we didn't have at the time. You would wear that, but now this fills that role, to me anyway. It does have bergamot. There's some like amberwood sweetness in here, a little bit of geranium, kind of a green aromatic mintiness. It smells nice. It's that mixture of fresh and sweet that works really well. You probably know it, but you might skip over it as well. It can be easy to do so, but it is worth picking up, especially here as we move into the spring, summer seasons. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 well-known scents that, in my opinion, deserve even more hype. Now that we've gone through the video, maybe you see what I mean. You've probably heard of these one point or another. Maybe you skipped over them, because some of these, I guess, can be easily skippable. You know, we're talking flankers of flankers of flankers at this point, but they are really good and they are worth trying. Links will be down below. Deals will be on my community tab and also my mailing list. So if you want any of those rare, hard to find gems out there, like Noir Ombre, get signed up. I'll be able to get you a bottle, no problem. Once they come into stock, I'll send out an email. They do sell quick. You have to be quick about it, unfortunately, but that does give you the best chance overall, because a lot of the discounters, their notify system where you put in your name or your email and then they are supposed to send you notification, a lot of times it doesn't work. Either it goes to spam or it just doesn't work at all. So I kind of have been stepping in to eliminate that issue entirely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.